Yeah, good morning, my Teaserking family. How's everybody today? Hope everyone is well. Here we got some snow. Just did my walk. Silver hit $61 yesterday, 61.50 actually. Now we're getting that 10 o'clock drop. So it's at 60.43 and gold's roughly 4,200. So you can see it was 61.60. And then 61.20, and now the 10 o'clock drop takes it down to 60.49. But it'll come right back as soon as they start buying it again. Still with the bullshit. They're still playing games. I don't know why. It doesn't matter. They're fucked with their derivatives. They're going to have to cover them, and there's basically no no way they can cover it. There's no way it's going down. People say, is it going to go down? And I'll say it's not going to go down because it's demand. So let's briefly talk about what makes prices go up and down. Alligator doesn't get it. He thinks, well, it's the money going down, not the value of the gold and silver going up. He's full of shit. He doesn't understand economics clearly. When you hear that, you know they don't understand it. It's going up because of demand. It's going up because it's limited in supply. There's not that much gold and silver out there. Silver specifically wears out where gold doesn't. Gold is indestructible. So this is Julius Caesar's and Cleopatra's, and this is all my Roman friends. Silver wears out once you destroy silver. So you're in a Tomahawk missile and you shoot it and it hits, the silver's gone. You can't reuse it. So A, you've got far less silver. B, the gold can't wear out. So that's probably why the gold's worth more, because you can't destroy it. Gold at 4,200. Okay, why is it 4,200? Demand. It's not that the dollar's going down, and so therefore the gold price goes up. The dollar was down in 2000 and 2010 and 2020, and gold was sitting at 1,600. Why wasn't gold 4,100 then? Because we didn't have the demand for it. The demand raises the price and creates the price. That's how any asset works. A house. Why is a house 500,000? Because of demand. People would buy it. Now people don't buy it. When the demand goes away, the price drops. They want to call it deflation. It's not. It's the price dropping because the market, there's less demand for it. The electric cars, I don't understand that. There was no demand for it. Really stupid idea. Nobody criticizes whatchamacallit, not Egon, but whatever his name is, Erlon, whatever, the idiot, Elon Musk. Nobody criticizes him for making a car nobody wanted. And it's all government money anyway, but he's an idiot. You don't make things people don't want. So with gold, people want it because they have to get out of the dollar. So the demand, everybody jumping into gold raises the price. That's what happens. And it's very simple. It's not the dollar going down. The dollar going down creates people to look for alternatives, gold or silver. And that's your only two alternatives. Hey, Ryan. Well, I'm glad you said hi, and I hope everything's okay with you, and you're doing well, and your family's well. So yeah, so it has to be demand. It has to be people wanting it is why the price goes up. Like I said, in 1990, the gold was what, $1,500 or $1,000. Now it fluctuated because they would print a lot of derivatives and options, which took the price down. But when the Hunt brothers tried to corner the market, their mistake was buying options instead of buying physical. had they just bought physical and realized they can't really corner the market, but they can make a lot of money. It was the demand that they did that raised the price of silver to 50. And then once they couldn't cover and they were going broke because they couldn't cover, they had to buy the derivatives, and then their options, they had to pay up on them. Once they had to do that, then the price of silver went down. All prices of assets are based on demand. It's an auction. It's a mantle card. There's no difference between a mantle card and gold and silver. They're very limited. If you have a graded one, a PSA 8 or 9 rookie would sell for over $1 million because of demand. Why does the dollar going down not affect those, right? So the fact that the dollar's got no value, it's got zero value, so don't kid yourself. And once that, but why is gold, 4,000, then it's 4,200? Why is gold moving? The dollar isn't going down anymore. It's gone. Just a second, I got to get my tea. Okay, sorry about that. So that's why the prices change. Why is gold not 2,000? Because of demand, because it's limited in supply. And it just keeps going like that. And why is silver not $25? Why was it 25? Because of the options, the price suppression. See, we never had a real price in silver. So the price suppression kept it at $5 or $10 or $20. And now they can't suppress it as much because people shorting it, the price keeps going up because of demand. So when India wants tons and tons, and China and Russia, when they're buying, 25,000 tons of it, that makes the price go up. So I'm not quite sure where Alistair, see, he's a wannabe economist. He's a banker and just doesn't get it. He really can't understand what's going on. It's a shame. That's the problem. He seems smart, so you listen to him. But when you really listen to what he's saying, he doesn't know. So he's got a credibility problem. But because he looks the part and he plays the role of the banker, you believe him. Andy Schachman doesn't know what he's talking about, doesn't understand inflation, doesn't understand any of this. Any of those guys, and I don't want to go name by name, but they just don't get it. They're a bunch of salesmen, and all they're trying to do is get you. Thing I don't like about some of them is they'll put this title on their thing, and then they don't talk about it. I hate that. If you're going to say, why is today Monday, and then you don't talk about it, then why are you putting the title down? Anyway, so the market, at the end of the day, in Austrian economics, always determines prices, which determines value. How is a value created is by what people want for it. Do people want it or not? If they want it, then they get it. Greg and John, good morning. Ryan, off subject, do you feel that online gambling has corrupted sports? I don't know that it's necessarily online, but I think sports is corrupted by the gambling in the first place. There are some very questionable things happening. Yeah, I'm noticing there's on one of the highlight shows I watched where the ball's hitting the upright like a lot. Like it would be 2 or 3 times a year. Now there's like 50 kicks where the ball's hitting the upright. So I don't know if there's a magnet in the ball in the upright. I can't imagine these kickers kicking 60-yard field goals all of a sudden start clanking them off the upright as a way to fix, because what can they do, right? A good kicker can't miss. I mean, that one guy missed totally. He's probably looking for a job now, but it's hard for a kicker to really look too bad and keep his job. So the kicker, if he hits the upright, oh darn, but 50 uprights hit and we're only in week 15, that's a bit much. These player props should be banned because the player's going to fix it. Now it's ironic that players making $10 million. I mean, how much is he? What's he betting? 100,000 on himself to not gain 100 yards or 50 yards or whatever. This whole player prop thing should be gone. I know gambling, like FanDuel, is a business, and the more money they make, the more bets there are, the more money they're going to make, and the more money they're going to make, then the better. Then it's good for their business, right? Sales are increasing, so they've gone to these player props, but you can't do it. It's like you can't do digital money, and you can't do digital food, and you can't do digital clothes. You either have real clothes and real steaks, or you don't, or real money. And I think where they're going is just, it's turning it into, the reason football is the number one sport is the gambling. But if you make it fake, so you can't really trust the gambling and you're not going to do it, then you're not gonna watch, because if I can't gamble on it, why would I watch it? It's boring as hell. Too many commercials, too much bad play, too many bad quarterbacks. So Tennessee played Cleveland. I watched the highlights. What a shit bowl that was. And if you didn't bet on it, you wouldn't watch it. I didn't bet on it. I wouldn't watch it. But I wanted to see this week's games. Where's my sheet? So this week, we've got San Francisco playing Tennessee. So I wanted to see if Tennessee scored 31 on a good Cleveland defense, what the hell happened? Do they have a good offense or not? And they still kind of suck. And then I wanted to see Chicago and Cleveland. I wanted to see, is Cleveland have this good offense? And I'm like, no. They played a weak team in Tennessee, and Tennessee played a weak team in Cleveland. Looked like Myles Garrett didn't show up. So that's what happened there. Okay. My sheet's all filled in, so that. So I just think the player props are killing it. I think it's very bad what they're doing. So, yeah, Ryan, I think it's the only reason we're successful is because of the teasers. So they don't fix the line for the teasers. They fix the line straight. So, let's say, let's go, let's say Kansas City's 4.5 over San Diego, and they win by 3. So they won't cover the 4.5, but in a teaser, you get 1.5. They'll win. KC will win, but they won't cover the 4.5. So that's where the teaser comes in, because the teaser still wins. The team still wins. Let's take another one. Let's take Philly 11 over Oakland. Okay. So we tease it down to 5. Philly wins by a touchdown. They won't win by 11. They might win by 10 or 8 or 7. That's what their goal is, but they'll still win probably by a touchdown. We saw that in the Denver Oakland game. There was one guy yelling and crying because he was laying 8.5. And Oakland is about to lose. They throw a pass, and then the guy in Denver stays on the guy so he can't get up. And then they throw a flag that it's like delay a game because you won't get off the guy, which is ridiculous with 5 seconds left. So then Oakland kicks a field goal at the end. Instead of losing by 10, they lose by 7. The guy's laying 8.5 and he's crying because you shouldn't have lost. Well, if he was really smart, he'd have played a teaser like I did and we did. And it was, I was only laying 1 in a teaser. But let's say he was laying 2.5 in a teaser. It doesn't matter. So that's why we play teasers. It turns losers into winners. And the fix is in on the 10, on the 8, but not on the 2. And I learned that way back. And, my brother used to ask me, did you need the 6 points? I says, well, before the game, I'd rather take Denver -2 than Denver -8. And that's the perfect example. They just want to win. Now in college, it's different because college, Notre Dame's winning 70-7 because they want to get in the playoff, right? That's why Notre Dame puts up a 70, but you don't have that in the pros. So it's just win by 2 and win by 1, and we're happy. Greg and John, Phillip Rivers signed with the Colts. I don't know if he did. I know he worked out with them. Maybe he did. That was rigged TK with the line. Well, of course it was rigged, but again, not in a teaser. Raiders had no business kicking a field goal. Well, they did because they were down 10. So then you onside kick, throw a bomb, and you need a field goal anyway. So I don't have a problem with them kicking a field goal. I have a problem with the Denver player sitting on the guy. Let him get up. By the time they get to the line, the clock's going to expire, right? So just tackle him and then get up. Obviously, he doesn't know the rule that if you stay on it, they can call delay a game. But as long as you go and get off the guy and let him, they have to all run to the ball and they all have to line up and that. So yeah, it was a little screwy, as I said, but this is why we bet teasers, because it takes that shit out. All I got to do is win by 2. And I hammered all the games except the only game I lost last week was Tampa, where they actually lost the game by 4 to New Orleans, which now that makes no sense. That's not a fix. That's just like, that was Tyler Shaw running for 2 touchdowns and New Orleans and Tampa going, he can't run. What's he doing? And they almost had him sacked one time. So he can't throw the ball. He's not a good quarterback. They were mostly scrambles, and he's scrambles for that. But yeah, I mean, there's a problem when you allow. I mean, it used to not be. You can't gamble on football. The players couldn't. The teams couldn't. Although they did in the '68 Super Bowl, the Jets in Baltimore, when they needed the Jets to win so they can have the merger of the league and give credibility, because Green Bay killed KC and Oakland in the first 2 Super Bowls. So they're not good. And Baltimore should have killed the Jets. Earl Morrall wasn't on the fix, as the owner was also. And he threw 5 picks at the 10-yard line. It was like, really, Earl? Are you kidding me? So when he played in the Super Bowl for Miami, then he played good, to make up for how shitty he looked. I don't know, guys that fix games, I just have no respect for. I mean, now you're making millions of dollars. Before he probably made 30, 40, 50,000 a year as a backup in 1968. But you're again ruining the makeup of the game. It's got to be real. People are betting on a real event, not on an act. And that's always the problem with that. So Yeah, Ryan, it's definitely a problem. They're associated with FanDuel. These player props are should all be eliminated, not even used. But again, I think Jerry Jones owns FanDuel or something, so he wants the extra money on the player props because the odds suck. That's the problem you guys don't get when you do player props. Well, I'm getting 10 to 1. What are your real odds? 50 to 1. You're getting 10 to 1. You're all excited. Or these money lines. Well, if you take this team, it's minus 2,000 to win 100, but you only get 500 if you go the other way. Well, no, it should be 2,000 or I get 2,000. I never understood that. If you wanted to take the dog, you get screwed because the favorite's minus 2,000, but the dog's only plus 500. You're like, well, why aren't I plus 2,000? That's the problem with money line. Never play money line. Most of the time you can tease it close and like you can actually predict the score. Only I can kind of do that, but it's not, it's never, oh, I have to play money line and not lay any points when I can lay 1 or 2 points. Denver laying 2-1. You need to money line it. But people are very insecure when they bet and they think, well, I'll take a 10-point favorite down to 0. Really, you can't take them down to 4 or look for an 8 down to 2. You can't pick the game. Anyway, so back to gold real quick. The market, what is a price? What is the value? So why is this $470? Why this a tenth of an ounce? Why is this 475? How does it get a value? People bidding on it. It's an auction. People bid on gold and they get it up to 4,200. So this is 1/10. So this should be $420, but it gets a little kick. So it's like 450. But how does the value come? Well, not because of the dollar going down. It has nothing to do with the demand. The fact that this has zero value or is worthless, and the fact that this has zero value and is worthless does not make gold 4,200. That is done by the demand in the free market for gold and silver. The Russias, the Chinas, the Indias, the Saudi Arabias, the Brazil, all the BRICS countries, Poland and Czech and Hungary, all the countries buying the gold and silver. You put a price out. I'm going to sell it for 3,000. People buy it. I'm going to sell it for 4,000. People buy it. As long as there's the double transaction, there's a seller and a buyer, and as long as they agree, and to them it's a fair trade, I will pay 4,000 for the gold is a fair trade to me. And as long as that's a fair trade, which it is, then that's the price you paid for it. Now, there could be less demand and the price starts going down, or it could be more demand and the price goes up. But it has nothing to do with the value of the dollar. What the value of the dollar being inflated and having no value and being worth 0, what that does is create the demand for the gold and silver. This is the part Alistair doesn't understand. The fact that it's worthless, the fact that the inflation, the money printing is huge, making the value worthless puts people like me. I realized that was happening and immediately thought about it. Well, Swiss francs, British pounds, euro, yen, won. Nope. The only answer is gold and silver. So by the money being inflated pushes me into gold and silver. That's what he's trying to say, but he doesn't understand it. And then it's just everybody who's now realizing and into gold and silver, and it's mostly the central banks, the shadow banks, Russia, China, the jewelry from China and India. So the demand for that is how we settle on price. So there's people like us who realize the dollar is going out, so we just jump into gold and silver as protection, and it'll go up. But what the price is has got nothing to do with the money declining. The money declining pushed us into buying it, but not setting the price. So it's not like, oh, the dollar went down, now it's 4,200. Oh, the dollar went down more, now it's 4,300. Or the dollar's down and now silver's 61. That's got nothing to do with the dollar going down. What it has to do is because of inflation and gold going so high, people are now running to silver. Now you have this other stuff of solar panels and electric batteries and Tomahawk missiles. There's demand for silver. You would have the demand for gold, but it goes too expensive. So they want to buy the silver because they need it to use to make these things. But even then, it still comes back to it's money. We're buying it because it's money. We're not using it for anything. Now, if the defense contractors need it to make Tomahawk missiles, they'll have to pay whatever the price is. And you can't hold the price down. You did for a while, but now you can't. So now the price is where it is, and there's nothing you can do. So that's how the price is set by the market, by what we're willing to pay for it and how much is available. So as the supply of silver goes to zero and I need to have it, I have to make Tomahawk missiles and solar panels, and we need it for money because the dollar's worthless, all of that. So there's three different demand sources, the people making these weapons and solar panels. There's people needing it for money, protection, and money wealth. Well, so there's two different people coming in, and they're attacking silver. And we don't care what the price is, we're going to buy it. And they don't care what the price is, they're going to buy it. They're going to, I need to make Tomahawk missiles so I can sell them to the British or whatever the hell, or the Ukrainians or Israeli or whoever you're selling it to. And it wouldn't be surprised me if they're selling it to Venezuela as we attack Venezuela. And why are we attacking Venezuela? No idea. I assume for their oil and their gold. But the Russians and the Chinese have beaten you there, so they don't want you in on that. But so it's they have to make the weapon, so they'll pay anything for the silver. And then as the silver supply runs out, the price goes up and people still buy. So as long as people are still buying, that's how the price goes up. It's got nothing to do with the dollar going down. Initially, the dollar going down has you thinking to buy gold and silver. But once you're buying it, it doesn't matter what the price is. And it's certainly printing the money does not set the gold and silver prices. They are set by us. How much are we willing to pay to buy them? And that goes by, well, if the dollar goes out, I need gold and silver, so I'm going to pay more. It's as simple as that. That's how the price goes up. COMEX is still fucking around with the paper and the derivatives, trying to short it, trying to repress the price. So the people who need it to make things can buy it. And then it helps us because we can buy more gold and more silver at these cheap prices. But that's how the price goes up. So then the price goes to, gold's 4,200. They're still being bought. Silver just hit 61. It's still being bought. It'll always be bought because of the people needing it and us getting out of the dollar. Once you realize the dollar is worthless, you go in and then it's a little, probably, okay, I'm going to sell. Oh, wait. As it becomes less, there's no supplies. The supply runs out because they're both limited, gold and silver. Then I want to buy. Well, there's no supply. I'll sell you an ounce of mine, but it's going to cost you more. Okay, I'll buy it because I have to have it. And that's what ends up where the price goes up and up and up because there's more people who want to buy it than there is sellers. There's more demand than there is supply, and that's what we're looking for. But it has nothing to do with the dollar being more inflated, and it's the dollar going down, not gold going up, is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. When somebody tells me that, it means they're clueless. They have no idea what a free market is. They have no idea what fair trade is. It's just, and he comes across like he knows, and it's just, by saying that proves he doesn't know. I don't have to prove it. He just proved it on his own. People that say there's stages, they don't know what they're talking about. There's no stages. You print the dollar, it's worthless, and you go buy gold and silver. There's no stage. It's just you printed the money. There's no, if you're going to do that, if A happens, B happens. If we hit an iceberg, the boat's going to sink. Get to a lifeboat. That stages? No, it's just that's the flow. All right. So as you can see, all the vaults are being emptied. The COMEX is going broke. You can see the pricings. Before, COMEX would never let silver go over 50. Now it's 61, on its way to 70 to 100 to 500 to 1,000. And when some guy says, "Well, I can see mid 26, it'll be $80 an ounce." These people are idiots. You cannot guess the demand and the supply of what the fair trade will be at a specific time. We know it'll be 100 because we know there's no option, and we know it's gonna keep going. But you can't time it. You can't say, well, it's $50, so on December 9th, silver's going to hit 61. You can't say that. I can tell you it's going to 100. I can't date it, but I would say very quickly. We'll see where it is Christmas. Probably be 65, 70. Highly recommend Christmas presents of gold and silver. Uh, uh, that's where it is, and you just watch it go. My friend goes, well, will it go down? In other words, should I sell now or is it going to go down? No, do not worry about it going down. It's only going to go up. It's a one-way rocket ship, and it might ebb and flow like today, 61.50 and then 60.50 and back to 61 in a short period of time. That's just the option players getting killed, and they're all going bankrupt. But in the real world, no, it's not. It's not going to go down to 40 or 50. No, it's 60 onto 100 because of the demand by the BRICS: China, Russia, India, Saudi Arabia, Brazil. It's their demand wanting silver and the use of everybody needing silver to make their little whatever AI and electronics and cars and whatever the uses are, weapons. Um, they need it. So that's demand, and that keeps the price going up. So no, the price will just keep going because the supply's gone. If they had a lot of supply, then it wouldn't matter. But you can't make gold and you can't make silver. You dig it out of the ground and that's it. If you find a new mine, it takes 10 years to get into play, which they probably can't find a new mine. They haven't really been looking for silver mines because the silver price was so cheap. The problem that they didn't think about, COMEX, so worried about suppressing the prices, then nobody mines it anymore. Well, it's not worth the gold mine. It's going to take me $50 an ounce, and I can only sell it for 25. Well, it's not worth it. So they do copper mines and nickel mines and zinc mines and gold mines. And in there, when they pull the crap out of the ground, their silver comes with it. That's where you're getting your silver. So there's no big silver mines coming. And if they do find it, it's 10 years. So you don't have to worry about that. The demand is far exceeding if they found a supply of silver with even 10,000 tons would be nothing because the demand is probably 100,000 tons. And it's going to be higher and higher as more of the world realizes they're fucked, that their currency is worthless, and the supply is gone, and they need gold and silver, and they'll pay any price for it or what they can afford. That'll drive the price up. So as a billion people start coming looking for the lifeboat, we just sit back and go, yeah, sorry, I'm not selling it this cheap. When silver hits 10,000, I'll give you a few ounces. And that's where it's going. So the demand keeps the price going up, and the low supply also then keeps the price going up because if you want it, you're going to pay more. And that's really it. I mean, so it's a real zero risk. It's indestructible gold. Silver just keeping it in a decent place, but you're fine. Nothing's going to happen to it. So that's what's going on in all these. So COMEX was never meant to be a physical exchange. Is turning into people asking for the physical. They're not prepared for it. They're going out, and then it'll be China and Russia controlling the price and controlling the supply. And how much are they going to charge? They want the U.S. Well, I don't know what they want with the U.S., but the way the U.S. treats other people, nobody wants the U.S. And the fact it's a reserve currency means nothing. If you print it to death, it's still worthless, even if it's the reserve currency, which I don't think it is. If half the world's with BRICS and with gold, how is the U.S. dollar the reserve currency? That whole FX exchange is going away, and the petrodollar's gone away. So what's the big deal about the U.S.? So I don't buy that. All right, let's see. What are we at? Silver 60.57, gold 41.93. So 42 and basically 61. Again, it's this 10 o'clock drop. This is, I don't really know what happens at 10 o'clock, but I know they drop it, and then so the US can buy it cheaper. All right, let's go to football. Wait, I want to show you on Teaserking first. So I made adjustments to Teaserking. Now, one thing we have is the bowls. So here's my purchase pick menu. So this, I went into purchase picks, and it's out of focus. Okay, if we look here, so these are what's a teaser, the trends. I used to do trends, I just didn't have time. The odds just take you to a site. History shows you what I've been picking. And then there's purchase picks where you buy them and you get a password, and then you use the password in this week's picks. So you get a password when you purchase them. So if you click into purchase picks, brings you up this menu, which there's locks here, there's NFL, there's college, and there's that. Yeah, why is this so blurry? I think it's my computer screen, or it's my eyes, but so yeah, here's pro picks, college picks, and then over here are both picks. So you get both. So if you want pro and college. So in here, in the second thing down, so we're in college now. College picks, second box, college picks, all the bowl games. Okay, there you go. Includes college locks and, or no, college picks, all the bowl games, includes college locks and the playoffs for $100. So you basically get 50 some odd bowl games, and then you start with the 4 playoff games, and then it goes to 4 more playoff games, then the final 4 in the final. So you get all that for $100, and that's in college, right? In the college. So there's the pro slot and there's the college slot. But over here, here are the pro picks, the remainder of the season through the Super Bowl, plus the playoffs and the locks, $200. So if you want all the pros through the Super Bowl, $200. You get all the playoff games, and you get what? This is week 15, 16, 17, 18, 4 weeks of playoffs and the Super Bowl, all for just $200. Normally it's $100 for 1 week. So that's in the pro section. And then in the both section, where you want both pro and college, here I got both pro and college picks, includes pro and college locks, playoffs, and bowl games through the Super Bowl. So you're going to get, it includes the locks. You get both. So you get all the bowl games, playoff, and all the pro games, playoffs, and through the Super Bowl. So you get the playoffs and the bowl games, and that's $200. So I know people have asked, how about the remainder of the year? So there you go, $200. You get about 6 weeks of college, because you've got 3 weeks of bowl games plus then the playoffs. It's what, 12 teams, and then it goes down to 8, and then you play again, and then you go down to 4, and then you get to the final game. So you get all that. If they're locked, you get that, or if they're just regular. And the NFL, you get all the picks through through the last 4 weeks, plus the playoff games and the Super Bowl pick. So this is a really good for 200, because again, this would be 100 a week. This would be, the bowl games would be 75 a week. You need at least 4 weeks, because it includes the playoffs, and all of them include the locks. You don't have to buy the lock. I had one guy bought the locks and bought the pick. No, just buy one. And then the pros, if you just want the pros, I don't want to bet college or the bowls, and I'm not, then it would be $200. This would just take you all the pros through all the playoffs, through the Super Bowl, 200. So you get this. If you just want the pros, you get this if you just want the bowl games and the college playoffs, and then you get this one. If you want everything, it's $200, and you'll get the rest of the year, all the picks through the Super Bowl. So I wanted to show you that because the way he put it in, I got a little IT guy. I don't need him much just to like make these changes and stuff. Um, the way he put it, I want to make sure you can find it, right? So again, you're on teaserking.com. You're then in purchase picks. So you're in the purchase pick tab, and then you get, and it's all PayPal. Now, Ron Weiss pays me in Venmo. I don't care. As long as you pay me, you can pay me in Venmo. Not a problem at all. It'll just be, I'll get a Venmo thing. I'll get a text. You've been paid in Venmo, and then I can just, take that to my bank, and then I'll see your email, and then I'll email you the password. If you go through this, you pay, you get a password in the email automatically. So it's an automated device. It's like you pay, but then look out for the password. Some people don't know, and hey, I didn't get the password. Okay. So you can either pay through PayPal if you're not comfortable with PayPal and you have Venmo, you can use Venmo. Those are the only two I offer, or obviously gold and silver. You can send me some silver. I'll be happy to take that, as you know. And then with your winnings, you go buy gold and silver with it. So it's a perfect Christmas present. So that is, that's that. These are my picks, but you're not going to see them. So that's last week's actually. So there's last week's picks, so you can see what I do. Anyway, so Dallas with Houston under 15 units, and it lost. Then we had Seattle with the Rams, 15 units, and it won. So I'm giving you everything I have. And Cincinnati with Cincinnati over, Houston under. So you can see I put Houston in multiple teasers. And I put LA in multiple teasers. So my strategy is to put a bunch of games out there and win 75% of them. Not necessarily the teasers, but the game. So when I win Houston under and it's in two teasers, that's a pick. So if I put 10 picks out there, I'm going to win at least 7 or 7.5 of them. And that's your strategy. So what you do as a bettor, you determine what 15 units is for you based on your bankroll. It might be $100. It might be $200. And then I have here a 25 unit lock. Well, that might be $300. Here's a lock that won, Texas Tech under, Ohio State under. So 25. So the units translate into your bankroll into how much you want to bet. So you might want to bet, $50 on the 15 unit, on the 11 units, and 100 on the 15, 17 units, and then on the locks, the 21 or 25 unit, you might want to bet 250 on. And the strategy is to win each week and to build the bankroll, knowing there's a lot. Now, you don't have to make all these bets that I do. This is how I've done it. I've told you this story where I went 17-0 on a Saturday working at the grocery store in the mid 70s. I made 17 picks. They weren't all $100, but close. This is 1977, 78. And I fucking won them all, and I won 1,700. So that happens. I never lose them all. I never, I'll win them all more than I'll lose them all. This was Mark Herman at Purdue beating Iowa was the big lock from Doc's Lock of the Year. I love that one. But the idea is to find these strong games and bet it in multiple teasers. But part of your bankroll is $5,000. It's maybe $50 to $100 a game. Oh, okay, we won 400 this week. We bet a lot, but We win a lot of them. We lose some. Well, like I said, we'll go 75% on the picks and then the teasers, but the teaser has the pick in it twice. Houston's in it, Houston unders in it twice. The Rams are in it twice. So um, you don't have to play them in multiple teasers, but you can look at it and go, who did he play in two? And that's what I'm going to focus on. Now I know I play 10-team teasers. So here's my 10-team teaser last week. So we start with, I lose the first one, of course, the Alabama over. And then I win Ohio State under. I win Texas Tech under. Seattle money line wins. The under in the Houston game wins. Denver -1.5 wins. The Rams -2.5 wins. Over Cincinnati Buffalo wins. And then my loser Tampa Bay -2.5. And then the Bears in 14 win. So I go 8-2 out of my 10-team teaser. And I do that all the time. Sometimes I hit it and go 10-0. I'd say on the average, if I did it 10 times, I would win probably twice. And then about 6 times I would go 9-1. And then once in a while I go 8-2 or 7-3. I'm never far off because I understand why I'm betting the games, which is the critical part. So not a bad week, not obviously what I was hoping for. But Tampa let me down. I think Tampa and Alabama were the strange ones. I didn't understand Alabama. I don't understand why they're in the playoffs. And Tampa, how they lost to New Orleans is crazy. I believe I posted a lock. Let's see. Yes, I posted a 25-unit lock yesterday after my study. I'll be posting more games once I saw the weather was fine, but the weather changes, and then we'll look at the injuries. I'm pretty comfortable on the injuries part of it. Like Mahomes, well, I'm pretty sure he's okay. Or Josh Allen, I saw him at the end of the game. Joe Burrow, they looked fine. Judging by watching the end of the game, I assume they're fine, but we'll know better on Wednesday, tonight. So I'm holding that off. Now let's get to the lines. Now I've adjusted the last 5, and I'll show you what that means. In the whole season, a team might be score 28 a game, give up 18 for the whole season, but the last 5 games, there may be 24 and 24. So they're a different team than looking at the full 14 weeks, right? And that's what I'm trying to get to. Now, the other thing is when I do that, I am looking at who they played. Did they play KC, Baltimore, and Buffalo, or did they play New Orleans, the Jets, and Miami? So I am cognizant of that. Like Buffalo had a real low defensive score playing the Jets in Miami and New Orleans. But then I can't use that because I know they played Detroit, and I know they played Kansas City, and I know they played Buffalo, and they scored a ton on them. So that I can ignore. I can ignore, like Carolina playing New Orleans, Miami, the Jets, and having a 10 defense, and then they play Philadelphia, Tampa, and other teams that are, the Rams. And then I go, well, wait, they're not a 10 defense, they're a 25 defense. So I want to watch the Ram Carolina game to figure out how the hell. So let's talk about the Lion game. So that line is LA 5.5, 55. And okay, now we problem solve. And the problem is, how do we pick the game? There's 4 ways to pick it. Detroit is a dog. The Rams is the favorite. The over or the under. What do I want to do? And that's really what you're trying to determine. So I grade the teams. Well, Detroit's an over team with the 26 defense using the last 5. And in there is Green Bay. And in there was last week Dallas, who's a high-scoring team. Green Bay can score, and whoever else they played, Philadelphia. I don't know. So you're looking at the last 5 games to get an idea what they are, and then kind of who they played. They got golf. So they score 160, gave up 130, where LA scored 171 and gave up 100. And then I divided out. So I got Detroit as an over team with the 26. I know they have an injury. Both safeties are out. Kirby Joseph and the other guy from Alabama. All they do is draft guys from Alabama. The GM's not smart enough to draft Georgia guys. So I look at that and I go, well, okay, you got 2 injuries to the safeties. The cornerbacks are hurt. Their secondary's hurt. Hutchinson looks like crap this year. They paid him, and he got paid. Only in baseball they play apparently when you get paid, but in football they don't play when you get paid. Deshaun Watson and I don't know what was the guy in Alabama, Julio Jones. He never played, but he got paid. So the Rams are an A team. They score a lot. They got Stafford and Pukanuka and Devontae Adams, but they only give up 20. Now it's funny. Last week was a 14, and then they played somebody one of the weaker games where they gave up like 10 fell off their schedule and it was replaced. So they went from a 14 to a 20. I think it was the Carolina game when they lost 31-28. Then excuse it, but you want to use it because shit, they gave up 31 at Carolina. So they're an A team with a 20 defense. That means they score about 30 points a game. Detroit scores probably 26. The difference is Detroit gives up 26 and the Rams only give up 20. Profit. Hey, Prof. So Phillip Rivers is back. Is there really that big of a shortage of good quarterbacks in the league? Well, of course. I mean, even if the guy didn't get hurt, Daniel Jones, the GMs don't know what they're doing. They overpay for the starter. So they'll give Golf $50 million and then they can't afford a backup because they need defensive help because they overpay Hutchinson and they overpay the receivers and the right tackle. I mean, it's stupidity, right? You're paying your running back, 25, 30 million, your quarterback 50, your 2 receivers, 25, 30. Well, that's it. You don't have any more money. You pay Hutchinson. I don't know why you wasted your money on him. And, and then these guys are all injured and there it is. So that's the whole key to it is they don't have a lot of money for backup quarterbacks. And Indy had Riley Leonard because Richardson's hurt. Riley Leonard wasn't good at Notre Dame. I don't understand that draft choice. He wasn't a good quarterback. Bean, the kid from Kansas, is their best quarterback, but the coach is too stupid to play him. He doesn't realize that. He's a great quarterback. So yeah, there's a huge shortage, but in this case, Indy wants a experienced backup. It's like Joe Flacco, right? Joe Flacco's there to go to Cleveland, and now he goes to Cincinnati. It's the same thing. I mean, Cleveland has no offensive line, and they got big problems. And then you bring in Prime Jr. I mean, come on, he's not a pro quarterback. So, I love people. Oh, look how good he was. No, okay, he made a few passes. I mean, he knows how to pass the ball. He can't read the defense. He threw a lot of interceptions, and he wants to run. He doesn't understand the game. Tom Brady would get the snap and go, I'm going to throw it right there. He doesn't do that. He doesn't know how to do that. As he's fading back, he's looking and looking and looking for somebody to get open. He doesn't even understand the routes. And then some guy breaks away and then he throws it to him. Oh, what a great pass. No, it's crappy. He didn't know. The guy just happened to get open. Anyway, so back to this. So how do we choose? Well, the Rams are the better team and they are at home. Okay, how much does that matter? Well, we look at Detroit as a road dog and we look at the Rams as a home favorite. And in that, the Rams are 14-0 at home, 13-0, or no, that's Denver. The Rams are 11-2 this year, 27-5 over 2 years, so they cover. 13-3 at home and 42-8 at home the last couple of years. Play against Detroit as a road dog, 8-1. So Detroit's not a good road dog. The Rams are very good this year, 11-2 over 2 years, 27-5 and 13-3 at home. So they're very good at home. Detroit's not a very good dog. So you first thought, well, I'll take the Rams even. But now we got to factor in, well, wait a minute. We've got Detroit's in a must-win game. They lose the game, they're out of the playoffs. So now they're gonna bring it, whatever that means. So you're gonna get a good effort, probably a close game. Then you look at the total of 55, and you see, well, Detroit's an over team. We know they're going to score 30 points. How good is the LA defense? This is the last part of the puzzle. It was 14 last week, but then Carolina put up a 30 on it. So now it jumped to 20. Well, if they're that strong, why did they give up 30? Are they the steel curtain where it's hard to score 10 points on them? I don't think so. I think they're a good defense, but I don't think they're like that. They are scoring a lot of points. The Rams beat the Niners like 46-22. Arizona put up, I think, 20 points on them last week. What was that score? 45-17. The Rams beat. So I really don't want to fuck with the Rams. I don't want to play against them. It's like I don't want to play against Ohio State, and I really don't want to play against Georgia. There's certain teams you'll find a different bet than play against them. So I really don't want to play I don't want to play Detroit in 12, although that might be a winner. I don't trust it because Detroit, their secondary is terrible. And what do the Rams do? Stafford to Pukanuka, Devontae Adams. They can run, and they play a pretty good defense without pressure Goff. And we know Goff under pressure, he chokes. So with that said, verifying the 20 defense. So let's look at the 20 defense. Let's see who that's been against. Let's look at them against pretty good offenses, right? Because that's what Detroit is. They're an offensive team. They're an over team. So do we want to play this game over is what the question is. Plus, it says, did you know they can clinch a spot on Sunday? So I assume that's a playoff spot. Not obviously, they're tied in their division. All right, let's see. So for the season, both teams average 30 points a game. Defensively, Detroit's 23, which the last 5, Detroit's 26. And the Rams are 17, and the last 5, they're at 20. So we look at the last 5 of the Rams. They beat the Niners 42-26. Seattle, good team, but not a passing team like the Lions, 21-19. Tampa kill 34-7. Carolina beat. How do you beat Tampa and then lose to Carolina 31-28? And then they beat Arizona 45-17. So the last 2 games, you can see why their total went up. They gave up 31 to Carolina, 26 to the Niners, 17 to Arizona. So they're playing high-scoring games. Detroit, on the other hand, put up 44 on Washington, 9 on Philly, 34 on the Giants, 24 on Green Bay, and 44 on Dallas. So the 2 defensive teams they played, Green Bay 24 and Philly 9. All right, the Rams don't have a Philly-type defense with the Jalen Carter getting in the face. So that leaves you, how strong are the Rams defense? All right, Seattle 19 with 4 picks. They didn't run the ball enough. The Niners 26, 31 by Carolina, and 17 to Arizona. The Tampa game, I don't know. Tampa's playing very bad ball right now. But when you get to the trends, so what do we do with 55? How good is the Rams defense? And it's not like a bunch of 7s and 10s. So I believe the Lions can score in the 20s. I don't see how they're going to stop. They gave up 30 to Dallas, 31 to Green Bay, 27 to the Giants. They've got the injuries to Branch and Kirby Joseph, the safeties. Stafford's going to have a huge day. So you either take the Rams even, which keeps you away from the Lions in 12, because the Lions don't have the defense. Or you go total and you go over 55, thinking, well, Detroit's going to score, but the Rams are going to light it up. Look at the Rams, 42, 21, 34, 28, 45. They score, and the 21 was Seattle, and Seattle has a 15 defense. So with the 15 defense, they put up 21 on them. They played a 40 with that one. So that's where you get it, right? Even though they picked off Darnold 4 times, it was 21-19. And that 19 was 21-12 late in the game, and Seattle scored with 2 minutes left. And attempted a 60-yard field goal as time ran out to win. So Detroit will get in the 20s. The Rams, off of that defense, and believe me, Stafford wants revenge, will put up, I would assume, 40. So I think you're in the 60s here. Even if you're in the 50s, you got 55, you tease it down 6, you're at 49. What's 49? 28, 21 is 49. Well, I think the Lions will be in the 20s, 24, 27, maybe 30, because when they get going, it's hard to stop them. They're not going to stop the Rams. The Rams will score. The Rams need the game. The Lions need the game. There should be a lot of points. You're probably looking at a 40 to 30 game. Like the Lions, 44-30 to Dallas. Even Green Bay with a great defense, 31-24 is a 55 with Green Bay and that defense, right? Micah Parsons, and you put up 24 on them. So Detroit will be up in upper 20s, and LA probably be close to 40. Detroit doesn't have a pass rush, and they're on the road, and the Rams want revenge because they knocked them out of the playoffs 2 years ago, and I think last year Detroit's been getting them at home. So the Rams want this. They need the game because they're tied with Seattle, so they have to win the game. Detroit, it's do or die, so they're going to score, and this guy's going to go for 4th down at his own 5-yard line because he's an idiot. So breaking the game down, we preempt to the score, and so I gave you let's go 40-32 Rams. So you could take the 12, but I think the over is the play. And that's how you arrive at problem solving the game. And I do that for all the games. Do I want team A or team B, over or under? Well, what kind of team is this? Houston, I've been playing under. The Houston KC game was a lock under. I locked the Cincinnati Buffalo game over. I got Joe Burrow in no defense and Josh Allen in no defense. And on top of that, Joey Bosa wasn't playing, and Hutchinson wasn't playing for Cincinnati, I pointed out. So the best play in the game was over, and it was an 80-point game. I think it was 38-33 or something like that. So it was a 71, and my total was in the low 50s, I think. So once you arrive at the team, Cincinnati, an over team, Detroit, an over team, the Rams, just a good team, good offense, good defense. Dallas is an over team. I got a lot of under teams, and then I get a lot of strange teams. The Jets, the Giants, New Orleans, Washington, Minnesota. What do I do with these teams? And that's where you look at the quarterback. So Minnesota is an under team. Why? Because they have no quarterback, and they have a pretty good defense. But when they play other strong offenses, they will give up points. So then it becomes who's playing. So if we look at an under game, San Diego and KC, both teams are under teams. They don't score that much. As I said, KC's problem is Kelsey stinks, and he's got nobody else to throw to. You still got Mahomes. They don't really have a running game, and San Diego showed you against Philly. They don't score much. Again, they don't have Brock Bowers, the biggest mistake they made. So you're more apt to go under in the game than fuck with KC or San Diego. KC's do or die. San Diego, they need the game, but not as much as KC. It's at KC. I see KC winning. I don't really want to bet against KC, but I don't want to lay 4.5. Oh, the total is 42. Okay, maybe I go under 48 because I got good defenses and KC's struggling scoring. So when I call them under teams, it's because they don't score. Right, they both score 100. So I got KC scoring 20 a game and San Diego 21. Okay, well, I got 42 up to 48. So that's how I discover what do I think the game is going to be. High scoring, low scoring, and then that. All right, so that's your problem solving the NFL. And so let's go to the line. And now I'm going to give you the rankings of the teams, and then you can problem solve them. So if you buy from me, I problem solve them for you. And I give you, take the under in the Ohio State game, take the under in the Texas Tech game. It's all problem solving. They're a really strong defense. They're not giving up a lot of points. Ohio State. That's why I say Ohio State with the 7 defense and Indy with an 11. Where are you going to get points from? And the defenses will beat the offenses 100% of the time. Very rarely does a offense light up a defense if it's a very good defense. The Georgia team with the 7 defense, here's Ohio State. They don't give up. The only reason they lost is they didn't score. But Indiana's got a great defense and held them down, and that's what you're looking at. All right, Atlanta, Tampa, tomorrow night, Tampa 4.5, 44.5. Both teams are W teams. Atlanta with a 28 defense and Tampa with a 31 defense. I think, 28, I think. So, but Tampa's a W team. I thought Tampa was a good team. They're not. They're not scoring. They're scoring like 17 points a game, and they're giving up 31. That's why we lost last week, because we overvalued Tampa. That's why I do the 5. But now it changes. And so now when I do the 5, I see Tampa with the 31 defense. I don't want anything to do with this team. And they're not scoring. So you got a team that doesn't score and gives up a lot of points. Atlanta with Cousins won't take advantage because he sucks, and they give up 21. Tampa needs the game. Maybe you tease Tampa plus, but you don't want to lay. You're worried about your 31 defense. That makes it difficult. Cousins against the Baker. Arizona, Houston. Houston 9.5, 42.5. Houston, a B team with an 18 defense. And Arizona, a Z team with a 34 defense. This is where the last 5 come in. Arizona is not a 34 defense for the year, but for the last 5. Because now you see the injuries, right? Some guys get hurt, and all of a sudden they can't stop anybody. Or conversely, you get your injured players back, and all of a sudden they go from a 30 to a 20. So that's what you start seeing. The Jets go to Jacksonville. Jacksonville 12.5, 41.5. How can Jacksonville be favored by any, even in college, over? They played Georgia. I wouldn't think they'd be laying 12.5. So Jacksonville 12.5, 42. The Jets are a Z team with a 30 defense, and Jacksonville's an A team with an 18 defense. Yes, Jacksonville has an 18 defense, and that's what we look at. That's what you're using to grade the team and how to play it. So you're going to play it on that strength. So Jacksonville 12.5, it's 12.5, 42. Jacksonville is actually the play here. Because they're an A team with an A, they're just running the ball a lot, which eats the clock. Is their defense really this good? Probably not. But what you see is them running the ball like Army Navy. So the other team doesn't have as many possessions. But if they're able to run the team, it will be a lower scoring game. Oakland goes to Philly. Philly has lost the last 3 games. Philly is 11 and 38.5. Oakland is a Z team, 25 defense, means they don't score. Philly is an under team with an 18. Philly's not scoring. They scored 21 on Dallas, and that was it. Then they lost the next game. I can't remember. And then they lost last week, the San Diego game, where they kicked a bunch of field goals. So they're not scoring. Jalen Hurts, terrible. Not even close. Barkley, they're probably taking Barkley away and forcing Hurts to beat him, and he can't because he's not good. So you got to be careful because you want to play Philly. They've lost 3 in a row. They don't really need the game. They got a 2-game lead on Dallas, and Dallas has Minnesota, so Dallas should win that game. But Philly is just not scoring, so you might lean to an under because Oakland probably won't score on that defense. And we'll see. So, again, but the play's possibly Philly because of the 3-game losing streak. They're at home, and they're playing freaking Oakland, who can't score, who should have lost by 10 to Denver. And they still lost by 7, but you got Philly at home. Washington and the Giants, we've got the Giants are 247.5. How the hell can Giants be favored without Scatterboo, without Malik Neighbors, and Penix and Daniels is back? So it doesn't make sense to me. Washington's a Z team, but that you got to put quotes around because without Daniels, with Mariota. Now Daniels has come back, but they're not scoring. They got shut out by Minnie last week, who has a great defense. That's not a surprise. Washington is a Z team with a 32. The Giants are a W team with a 31 because they score a few more points per game. Daniels against Dart. Buffalo, New England. I'm very surprised Buffalo's favored by 1 with the 49.5. Now here you got Buffalo an over team, the 24 defense. Even though they played Cincinnati, you got a high score. And New England an A team with a 19 defense. Allen against May. When I looked at it, New England has been scoring a lot more, and they've been playing weak teams, and that's why their defense is 19. New England's the A team here with the 19 defense. They should be 3-point favorites, and then I would probably lock Buffalo in 9. That's how the spread determines the lock. Here, Buffalo's only in 1. I don't want Buffalo in 5. Maybe I take New England in 7, but Buffalo is in a must-win here, and so I'm not sure what I'm going to do. But I am surprised. I got New England -3. That's what the spread should be. San Diego and KC. KC 4.5, 41.5. Both teams are under. San Diego's got a 20 defense. Kansas City's got a 24 defense. Herbert against Mahomes. Herbert's running with his broken left hand. This guy's out of his mind. I saw him run about 10 times against Philly. They did get O'Murray and Hampton back. I don't know how good he is. I never thought he was that good. I was surprised by that pick, trying to sell that he's good because he ran fast in shorts and that, watch him in the games, please. I never heard of him before that. San Diego must win. It's do or die. They are 6-7. They can go to 10-7, got a chance, but if they lose, they're done because the Chargers are 9-4, and so they'll be out. So it's a must win for KC and with Mahomes, but they're not scoring a lot of points. This should be a low scoring game here. Baltimore at Cincinnati. Baltimore 2.5, 51.5. Baltimore is actually an under team. They're not scoring with the 21 defense. And Cincinnati is now an over team. It was a Z team, and then Burrow's back. I'm not fucking around. He puts up 30 points on Baltimore, and then he puts up 30-something on Buffalo, and he's doing it with ease. He's got time in the pocket. Nobody can guard Chase, so he's just boom, boom, boom. They are an over team with the 33 defense. So there'll be plenty of points in this game. Baltimore should be, even though they're not scoring a lot, should score here. Although in the first game it was 32-14. I did have the over and I hit it, but it was 30. They only got 14 on this Cincinnati defense. So I don't know. Again, it's 52. So again, 46. Cleveland goes to the Bears. The Bears 7.5, 39.5. Cleveland, an under team with the 24 defense with Prime Junior. Chicago is an E team with the 21 defense. So that just means they score 23, 24 a game. And Cleveland scores about 18, 19 a game. Cleveland with the 24 defense, you scratch your head. You got Myles Garrett, you're giving up 24. And Chicago. Now, a lot of that is Caleb's interceptions where they score, and then these strange long plays where the guys don't tackle, they just kind of fall down. I mean, it's worse than WWF. Some of these players, they should make the tackle and they fall down. I don't know what to say on that. So you got Prime Junior against Caleb. Chicago needs the game. They played very well against Green Bay. They won at Philly. Here they get Cleveland and Prime Junior, and they're just going to run it down their throat. They just seem to be a power running team. They're basically taking a Lions blueprint. We're going to run our guys and not really let Caleb hurt us too much. So it's got nothing to do with Caleb. It's just they're running the ball. But they did it very effectively against the great Green Bay defense. So Cleveland, good defense. We'll see. The Bears need the game. They're 9-4. They're a game up on the Lions, and the Lions at 8-5, so they're a game up on them. So they need to win. Again, they can still catch Green Bay. They play Green Bay, I think, next week, straight schedule. And so they have to win. And Cleveland at 3-10. Cleveland's capable with that defense, but not with Prime Junior. Indy and Seattle, Seattle 13.5, 42.5. Now you got, I'm not sure if Rivers is going to start or Riley Leonard. Either way, they're in trouble. Rivers sitting watching TV is not about to come in and light it up. Seattle, very strong defense. I worry about Darnold under pressure. Indy's a W team with the 26 defense. And Seattle's an A team with the 15. So Indy's defense is gone. And when they started playing better teams. So again, when they started out 7-1, they were playing the weak teams. They had a good defense. Now they start playing the better teams, and all of a sudden they're a 26 defense. So I like Seattle, but I think 13.5 is a bit much. So you got to be careful with these 12, 13 points. The object in the game is to win by 1, not 13. They're not trying to get number 1 in the AP and be Ohio State. So their goal is, we win by 3. We're happy. We're going to run the clock out. So you got to be very careful. You just don't get a lot of blowouts. You get some blowouts, but not too many. Frisco, Tennessee, same thing. Frisco 12.5, 44.5. Tennessee is Z team with also a 26 defense. San Francisco is an A team with a 21 defense. They're scoring a lot. Purdy's back. Kittle's back. They always had McCaffrey. Ward stinks. They're not scoring. They put up 31 on Cleveland. Cleveland didn't try. It was a pathetic game. Really bad game. Bad referee, bad game. So I don't think against the Niners, they're going to put up much of a fight, but we'll see. The question is, do we get an over on the game? Because we don't really want to lay 6. So that's what I was watching the Tennessee-Cleveland game for. Yesterday, I was watching how Cleveland will play the Bears and how Tennessee will play the Niners. And they both stink. Carolina, New Orleans. Carolina 2.5, 40.5. Carolina, an under team with a 24 defense, and New Orleans, an under team with a 21 defense. It's Young against Shaw. Shaw did absolutely nothing, but he scrambled for 2 touchdowns. I don't trust Carolina as a road favorite. Carolina under with a 24 defense, New Orleans with a 21. Now, they beat the Rams at home. I don't know what happened there. Rams were tired, not motivated, and Stafford threw a few picks. I don't think you're going to get that here. And again, it's at New Orleans. Pretty good defense. Shaw, I don't know. He's starting to run. I don't know. I mean, I can't take Carolina ever as a road favorite. They need the game, but they're terrible. So they're just winning 7 games because they're playing a bunch of shit teams, and then the surprise on the Rams. Detroit and LA, we talked about. LA 5.5, 55.5. I think it's. I don't really know what to do. I give you 40-32 score. It's not the free play. The free play. Did I do the free play yet? I thought I gave you a free play. Yes, here it is. Okay. So I'm giving you 40-32 Rams. I think it'll be high scoring because the Lions score and have no defense. And as Stafford pointed out last week, he lit up Arizona. So I think that's what you have there. Green Bay, Denver, this is our free play. Green Bay, 2.5, 43. Love against Knicks. Green Bay, an under team with a very strong defense of 16. And Denver, an under team with a 17 defense. I'm giving you Denver as a home dog is 9. Green Bay is not a good road favorite, and Denver is 13-0 this year, 29-2 the last 2 years with Bo Nix. You're betting on Sean Payton. I also like the under. Once I did the 5, Green Bay with the 16 defense and Denver with the 17 defense. You're not going to get, and the total's 43. You're not going to get points either. So this is one of those, I think I'm going to play it 2 different ways. Because if I just break it separately, Denver 9's a free play. And then, but so is the under. So I'm giving you the Denver plus the 9. Mini Dallas, Dallas 6-48. Dallas has to win the game, 6-1. Mathematically, they can catch Philly. That's why I like Philly against Oakland to finally put that away. And I mean, it's like the perfect team for Philly to play, a team that stinks. Minnesota, an under team with a 19 defense off of this shutout at Washington. Dallas, an over team with the 27. So you really got to see how Minnesota plays these more explosive teams like the Lions. They played the Lions once, and the Lions, it was Minnesota won 27-24. So total of 48. You got JJ against Dak. So Dallas, an over team with a 27 defense. Mini, an under team with the 19. Well, I don't think the 19 defense will hold up here. Again, it's who are they playing? And again, this league's so screwed up that they just beat Washington and the Giants and shit like that. And Dallas is playing Philadelphia twice, and they played the Lions. But in the Lion game, that score was 44-30. So they gave up 44 to Detroit. They still scored 30 on Detroit. So in this case, I think it'll be high scoring. I think Dallas will light up Minnesota here, and Minnesota, I don't know, JJ McCarthy. I mean, what do you expect? So maybe the play is Dallas, or maybe you go over. It depends how much you think you can get out of JJ McCarthy, which goes back to, yes, the quarterbacks all suck. That's right. Phillip Rivers is there. The difference is they drafted J.J. McCarthy in the first round, the 8th pick. Like, what a bunch of fucking idiots. And this is why Minnesota's in last place at 5-8. And other teams are much higher because they know how to draft quarterbacks. Minnesota is fucking clueless. And they had Darnell, so all they had to do is just keep that. You got him. Why would you let him go for McCarthy? Oh, we're trust McCarthy. Well, based on what? Are you in fantasy world? Like, that's like, oh, the dollar is going to recover and there will be no more inflation. Yeah, you're out of your mind. And our last game is Miami Pitt 3.5, 42. And then I got to wrap it up. They're both under teams. Miami has 16 defense. Pitt under team with a 22 defense. Tug against Rodgers. Who knows what Tagliabue? They're playing better. I'm seeing the 16 defense. Pitt with the 22. Pitt played a Baltimore 27-22 game. So Pitt and Baltimore are playing in 29. That's why I really like Baltimore Cincy. that should be a good one. But Miami Pitt, I really don't know. I don't know what Pitt is. They can play the strong defense, and then you got Miami with the 16 defense. Is that really a 16 defense? And so that's what we'll look into. Anyway, that's your pros. College, we've got one game. We got Navy 6 and 39.5 over the Army. And again, these are usually under games because they both know each other's defense. The better quarterback's Navy. I would expect Navy to win, and I would expect it to be under. And our last game is Washington 8.5, 51.5 over Boise in an LA Bowl. And that's also on Saturday the 13th. I don't know why Boise's playing Washington on the 13th already. It's a strange game to play. I got to fill in the trends. I'll fill that in later. But that's what we got. So let's check our gold and silver, and then I will be back tomorrow. There we go. Gold back to 4,200. So you see, we always have this 9:45, 10 o'clock bullshit. And then it starts. It's really just to lower the price so they can buy the option cheaper. That's all this crap is. So now we're 42 and silver back 60.79. We'll be back at 61 soon. So again, COMEX is about lowering the price so they can buy. There was something on JP Morgan I wanted to show you, but I don't. I'll show it to you tomorrow, where they are basically like caught, where they have all these options to pay out, and they just don't, and they don't have the silver, and JP Morgan's in trouble. I'm so happy about that. They're the most corrupt. They were with Madoff. So anyway, I have to go. I got to go get Alyssa. It is 11:38. So I will talk to you later. Any questions or comments, please let me know. You can reach me on email if you go to teaserking.com. If you want to buy any of those 3 packages, the rest of the year, pros 200, the rest of the year, college and pro, all the bowls through the Super Bowl, basically every game through the Super Bowl, 200. And if you just want the bowls, which I know I got guys that like that, that's $100. You'll just get the college games. So you can either get all the pros for 200, all the college bowls for 100, or the whole works for 2. As you wish. Or you can just keep buying the weeks for the 100, or just the pros. Like today, you want this week's pros, $75. There's really no college. It's just the Army, Navy, Boise, Washington game. Anyway, I got to fill in my grades for the college for all the bowls. We have the playoffs on the 19th and 20th. Alabama, Oklahoma, Miami, A&M, Tulane, Ole Miss, and James Madison, Oregon. What the fuck? Why is James Madison in here? And then the winners are on, I think, the 31st and the 1st. You get to go to Ohio State, Texas. No, these are in the bowl games. So now they're at like the Orange Bowl, Sugar Bowl. Ohio State, Texas Tech, Indy, and Georgia, your top 4. And I got no problem with the top 4, but I got a lot of problems. Alabama shouldn't be in there. Miami, I don't know that they should be in there. A&M had a weak schedule. Tulane, Ole Miss probably should. And then Oregon probably should, but they didn't play anybody either. It's hard. The schedules aren't. I think BYU and Utah got screwed. I know they're both better than James Madison. They're both better than Texas A&M, and they're probably both better than Alabama. And I love Alabama as a 1.5 point favorite at Oklahoma. Are you kidding me? All right, with that, I got to go. www.teaserking.com. Just buy all the gold and silver. The prices are manipulated. They're not real. They're priced to go down. They're trying to get out of their options, and they want to buy it cheap. There is no more physical out there, so the price has to go up as the demand is huge, the supply is weak, and buy. All right, have a good day. I will see you tomorrow. www.teaserking.com. All right, thanks for coming out, and I will see everybody tomorrow. Have a good day. Enjoy.